wanted. We're happy to see that there will be an outside facilitator facilitating the vote for this upcoming meeting on how those resources should be used. But it shouldn't be a given that what is being, that's what's before you is what's going to be voted on. There's an alternative proposal that's being pushed forward that we actually are the ones that are pushing forward, which is funding use paths and also more services for the elderly and people with disabilities. That will have far greater equitable outcomes than any electric vehicles. Vehicle emissions in the state of Oregon is the number 2 contributor to pollution in our state. But Trimet buses are only 0.02% of all of those vehicle-related emissions. 0.02%. Getting people to ditch their own personal vehicles will have a greater impact on the reduction of emissions. And the only way to do that is to remove barriers and make our transportation system more accessible to ensure that people leave their personal vehicles and get on buses. So there's a number of other tools at our disposal that we can use to actually increase the ridership in our system. For folks that are low income and transit dependent, it doesn't matter if the bus is a diesel bus or an electric bus. That's not really going to encourage our folks to actually use the bus more frequent. What matters is if it's reliable, if it's on time, if it's a frequent bus line. Those are the things that matter to low income folks. Also, if it's affordable. I also want to touch on the subject that has been brought up a couple of times, and I'm glad.
Orlando, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up.
Right. It's around Ana del Rocio's case. And we were very happy with the decision that came forward. We've been arguing against the use of these enforcement tactics because of how they treat folks, especially folks of color. And I know there was a report that came out that says there was no bias, but that is not the experience of people in our community. And we actually have some disagreements with how that report was presented that we'd be happy to follow up with. But I would want to encourage that this board does not follow an appeal of that ruling. There will be a letter that will be forwarded to you. There's a number of state legislators that have signed on that are also encouraging the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Orlando. Appreciate it.